Prescott. The Eagles are in first place in the division despite a 2-4-1 record, but there's still plenty of season left. With the Cowboys win tonight, Dallas will be the first NFC East team with 3 wins. In the end, though, it's still Cowboys-Eagles, and that means some bad luck.
They were the blue-collar city. We were the white-collar city.
Disrespecting each other.
It wasn't just a game. It was a fist fight.
They think they're better than everybody else.
Why are they America's team?
We felt we had a better ball
Those
club.
people in Philly love to play Dallas.
Dallas, we hate you.
Are you ready? Is you ready? Ready. You say you ready. Whole squad ready. Ready.
Fans are always like, hey, there's 2 games every year that you really got to win. It's the 2 Dallas games.
I mean, energy's high. Now you throw in the Dallas Cowboys. We know their players, and they know us well. So it's always going to be a fun one, and we're excited.
You can bring what you got. I'm going to the top.
This is the opportunity that everyone wants playing football. You know, quarterback, it doesn't matter what position you are.
We haven't played the best in some games. I mean, we're still right where we need to be. We're still at a place where we can make a run for the playoffs.
You say you ready. Whole squad ready. Ready.
I mean, I guess he's not wrong. The question is, how are you going to do it? And that starts at the QB position today. So, Matt, I guess I'll start with the most obvious question. Who is Ben DiNucci?
Like you don't know who Ben DiNucci is. Come on. Hey, we made a little highlight tape. Who is Ben DiNucci? Well, I'll tell you. He's a former Pitt Panther who transferred to JMU. That's James Madison University. And he's a little bit of a gunslinger. Former Pennsylvania Gatorade Player of the Year. He's got a little sidearm release, so if pass protection isn't great, which that's what we kind of expect in Dallas right now, you're going to get some sidearm throws. But Randy, he's a decent athlete. This is the zone read against Richmond. Boom! That's your quarterback. I don't think he'll do that today against the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's a talented thrower. I'd say he's a raw prospect, not expecting to start it. He gets the ball up and down. And one thing I noticed just watching his highlight reel from JMU, he gives his wide receivers a chance. He throws it up and gives them a chance. Dallas is talented at wide receiver. My question is, can that offensive line give him a chance to get the ball off today against a good Philly defensive line? I don't think so. I don't think it's
Matt, let me get this right. So this guy transferred from Pitt. Why would you do that? Well, because you couldn't play at Pitt. Oh my goodness!
It happens. Don't
this
be a hater.
This is going to be a beatdown. It's going to be a beatdown.
Don't be a hater.
Making college competitions
here. It's going to be a beatdown.
Really, you feel confident right now in what you're seeing from the Eagles?
Compared to Dallas? Yes. Yes.
There's one fact about this game. They can't lean on DiNucci. I'll tell you that, because if he's the one that has to throw it 30-plus times, it's going to be bad. I mean, yes, they have talent at the receiver position, but are there any leaders on the Dallas Cowboy team that can really take it upon themselves? You can always say lean to the running game, but the offensive line isn't good. We still haven't seen anything very positive from the defensive side of the ball, and I'm looking for just those certain few guys that really define the Cowboy team. And I tell you, when Dalton went down last week, and it was just sort of he got cheap shot and he was knocked out in the reaction of the team, and there was no all-out brawl on the field. I mean, that's where, what did we say last week, Sam? I said last week when I showed you a play about that defense, it's either you don't know or you don't care, okay? And it just looked like they didn't care after Dalton got hit. So that's what I'll be looking for. Hopefully a rivalry like this, like we're talking about, Eagles-Cowboys, brings that back. But does anyone on the Dallas Cowboys want to step up?
When I look at this team, I said last week about, is this team a real team? From the outside looking in, they don't look like they're in it for one another.
Yes.
We've all been in the locker room. You've coached many teams your whole life. When I look at this game, you was talking about his athletic ability. When I look at a guy like Dak Prescott versus Andy Dalton's athletic ability, you know, there's a big margin between the two of them. When I look at DiNucci coming into a big game like this against the Philadelphia Eagles, it just takes one play to ignite a team. Yeah, everybody's down on the Dallas Cowboys because why? Because we're not used to them playing this style of football week in and week out. Teams lose, teams win, but not consistently the way the Dallas Cowboys have been losing. One big play for one player. It starts at the quarterback position. I can see him tonight, Sunday Night Football, a big play using his athletic ability to get out the pocket and make a play for his team. The Dallas Cowboy teams need it. The wide receivers need it. I can't wait to see this quarterback and his athletic ability tonight on Sunday Night Football.
Doesn't the Eagles have to be licking their chops, though? They really do. So. Those pass rusher, everybody else, stop the run. Let's get after the quarterback. You know, Brew, you bring up a great point about lack of leadership on that football team. Dak Prescott clearly was the leader of that team. They're getting a guy back on defense that's going to make a huge difference, all right, in Sean Lee. And Sean Lee, he's the guy that always pulls a hamstring. Yeah, he's running. Why? He gives everything he has every time on that field, and that's something we haven't seen from this team. We'll see the impact that he has today, but it better be huge because, to me, I think the Eagles are going to be too much today.
Yeah, and players on the Eagles, I can look to the head coach. I have confidence in that, in the quarterback. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, they have those type of guys I'm talking about that I can't recognize right now on the Cowboys.
They got a legitimate defense. Legitimate defense.
Well, and we challenged Carson Wentz earlier in the year. I mean, there were times where it felt like he did have to do it all, times saying, try not to do it all. But when you look, once again, the injury report, no Miles Sanders, no Deshaun Jackson, no Alshon Jeffrey, but he's got 6 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. So things at least seem to be looking up for Carson Wentz. We'll see if they can get the win over the Cowboys today. Now let's go back to Kansas City, shall we? Patrick Mahomes. Maybe sharing what it's like when things are going well on your football team. Situation, narrative is everything in the NFL. 2 old friends talking there in Kansas City as they get set for the Chiefs and the Jets at Arrowhead. Still to come on Countdown, the panic might be setting in outside the Patriots facility, but our guys will tell you what Cam and company can do today to save their season in a huge divisional matchup in Buffalo. Plus, it's the closest rivalry in the last 20 years of football, 44 games, 22 wins each. We're putting our guys on the spot. Who are you taking, Ben or Lamar?
Many times his nose has been broke. We've had injuries. It's been football in its truest form.
I feel like our fans, our city, they get the most out of it.
And it's time for another edition of Name That QB. Apparently, it's been too easy recently because they're giving us a challenge. I mean,